Opening shot. A vast expanse of golden sand dunes stretching endlessly under a burning sun. The wind whispers over the dunes, creating a surreal, lonely atmosphere. The camera follows a lone traveler, me, as I arrive at the edge of the Gobi Desert. Narration. There are places in this world that seem to hold secrets beyond time, places that feel untouched, where the wind carries the voices of the past. The Gobi Desert is one of them. I had heard stories about a strange phenomenon, one that has puzzled travelers and scientists alike. The singing sands, a desert that hums, whispers, and sometimes even roars. Cut to a dusty road leading into the desert, where a small group of camels and their handlers wait. A local guide, Batar, approaches with a weathered but kind face.
Batar.
You have come a long way. The desert knows when a stranger arrives. Are you ready to hear its song? Close up. My expression, a mix of excitement and curiosity. I nod. Narration. Batar had spent his life in these sands. He spoke of them as if they were alive. The desert was his home, and he was about to take me deep into its heart, where the dunes were said to sing their mysterious song. Cut to a camel caravan moving deeper into the desert. The sun sinks lower in the sky, painting the sand in hues of orange and red. The wind picks up, whispering through the dunes.
Batar.
My grandfather told me stories when I was a child. Some say the sands remember. When the wind moves just right, they speak to us. Others believe spirits live beneath them, calling out to lost travelers. Me. And what do you believe? He looks ahead, silent for a moment, as if listening. Then he smiles.
Batar.
I believe you will hear it for yourself. Cut to nightfall. A small campfire flickers as we sit under a sky filled with a million stars. The only sound is the crackling fire and the distant sigh of the wind over the dunes. Narration. The desert at night is a different world. Still endless and ancient. As I lay beneath the stars, I couldn't shake the feeling that the sands were waiting. Waiting for the right moment to reveal their secret. Cut to a slow fade to black as the wind carries a low, distant hum across the dunes. Opening shot. The first light of dawn creeps over the horizon, casting long shadows over the dunes. The wind is still, as if the desert is holding its breath. I wake up to the cool air and the scent of sand and distant sage. Narration. Morning in the Gobi is a moment of peace before the sun reclaims its throne. The night chill still lingers, and for a brief moment, the desert feels soft, welcoming. But there is something else, a presence I can't quite name. It's as if the sands are watching, waiting for me to take the first step deeper into their world. Cut to Batar brewing tea over the fire, his movements slow and deliberate. He hands me a cup, the steam curling into the morning air. Batar. Today you will hear it.
The singing sands.
But first, you must walk where few have walked. Only then will the desert reveal its voice. Cut to we pack up our camp and begin our journey toward the tallest dunes in the distance. The heat begins to rise as the sun climbs higher. The air shimmers. Narration. We moved in silence, our footprints the only mark of our passing. The Gobi stretched endlessly in all directions, an ocean of sand frozen in time. And then, after what felt like hours, we arrived. Cut to a massive dune, smooth and golden, rising like a mountain. Batar gestures for me to climb.
Batar. Go.
Feel the sand beneath your feet. Move with it. Let it speak. Close up. I take my first step onto the steep incline. The sand is warm, shifting under me, forcing me to fight for balance. I climb, each step a battle, my breath heavy. Narration. With every step, the silence grew thicker, pressing against my ears. And then, I felt it before I heard it. A vibration, low and deep, traveling through the sand, up into my legs, my chest. A sound, like a distant drum, rolling through the dunes. Cut to a wide shot of the dune as the sound grows louder. A low, humming song, ancient and unbroken, filling the air. It rises and falls, like the earth itself is singing. Me? Whispering, "It's real." Close up. My expression of awe. The sound isn't just noise, it has rhythm, a voice, a presence. It feels alive. Batar, calling from below. Now slide down. Move with the sand. Cut 2. I take a hesitant step forward, then another, letting gravity pull me. The moment I move, the song shifts, the hum turning into a deep, almost musical vibration. It echoes through the dunes, surrounding me. Narration. The sand was singing. A voice older than time, a melody played by the earth itself. For a moment, I was part of it, moving with the desert's breath. And then, as quickly as it began, it faded into silence. Cut 2. I reached the bottom, breathless, heart pounding. I turned to Batar, eyes wide.
Me. How?
What makes it do that?
Batar.
Some say it is the spirits of the desert. Others say it is the memory of the land, remembering every traveler who has ever walked these dunes. But science has its own answers. Cut 2. A slow fade as we sit in the sand, the mystery lingering in the air, waiting to be unraveled. Opening shot. The golden dunes stretch far into the horizon. The sun is now high, casting sharp shadows across the sand. I sit next to Badar, still catching my breath after experiencing the singing sands firsthand. Narration. The sound was unlike anything I had ever heard. It wasn't just noise, it had weight, a presence, like a voice speaking from beneath the earth. I had to know more. Was this a legend coming to life, or was there a scientific reason behind it? Cut 2. Badar picking up a handful of sand and letting it slip between his fingers. The grains shimmer in the sunlight.
Batar.
For generations, my people have listened to the dunes. We believe they hold the voices of the past. But your world, your scientists, have tried to explain it in their own way. Cut 2. Flashback-style animation showing scientists in lab coats examining sand under microscopes, conducting experiments on dunes in different parts of the world. Narration. Scientists say the singing sands are caused by the unique size and shape of the sand grains. When they move together, the friction creates vibrations, producing sound. It's like a giant musical instrument, played by the shifting desert. Only certain dunes in the world have the right conditions to sing. The sand must be dry, the grains must be round and uniform, and the wind or movement must be just right. Cut 2. A side-by-side comparison of different dunes, some silent, some singing, showing the unique conditions required for the effect to occur. Me. So it's not magic, it's science. Cut 2. Badar chuckling, shaking his head.
Batar.
Science is just another way to explain the unexplainable. But tell me, when you stood on that dune, when you heard the sound deep in your chest, did it feel like just science? Close up, I hesitate, looking at the sand, remembering the way the sound had wrapped around me like a living thing. Narration. He was right. Even with an explanation, the experience felt mystical. The desert had a voice, and for a brief moment, I had been part of its song. Cut 2. A gust of wind picks up, sending a ripple through the dunes. A faint hum rises again, as if the desert is reminding us that it is always listening. Me. What do the old stories say about the sound? Cut 2. Badar staring out at the dunes, his eyes distant, as if recalling something from long ago.
Batar.
There is an old tale, a legend of a lost city buried beneath these sands. It is said that long ago, a great kingdom stood here, but it was cursed by the gods for its greed. The city was swallowed by the desert, but its people, they never left. They whisper in the dunes, calling out to travelers, hoping to be remembered. Cut 2. A soft breeze stirs the sand, creating the illusion of movement beneath the surface. The sound of the singing sands lingers. Narration. A lost city, trapped beneath the desert, forever trying to speak. Was it just a myth, or could there be truth hidden in the sands? I didn't know. All I knew was that, standing there, with the echoes of the dunes around me, it felt possible. Cut 2. The sun beginning to set, painting the desert in hues of red and gold. The journey is far from over, and the mystery of the singing sands still lingers. The sun is dipping toward the horizon, casting the desert in a golden glow. Long shadows stretch across the dunes. The air is still, thick with the fading warmth of the day. I sit beside Batar, staring out at the endless waves of sand, still thinking about the legend of the lost city. Narration: the desert held its secrets well. Even with all the science, all the stories, there was something about the singing sands that couldn't be fully explained. A mystery older than memory itself. And now, as the sun began to set, it was time to say goodbye to this strange, beautiful place. Cut to Batar standing, dusting the sand from his robes. He gestures toward the horizon where the camels wait, silhouetted against the sky.
Batar.
The desert has sung for you. It does not sing for everyone. Close up, I look at him, surprised. Me? Why me?
Batar.
Perhaps it knew you would listen. Cut to the two of us walking toward the camels, the wind whispering behind us. I pause for a moment, turning back to the dunes. Narration: for a brief moment, I wonder, what if the stories were true? What if voices of the past really did live beneath these sands, waiting for someone to hear them? Maybe science had an answer, but sometimes answers aren't what we're looking for. Sometimes we just want to feel the wonder. Cut to a final wide shot of the dunes, stretching endlessly, bathed in the warm hues of twilight. As the wind moves, a faint hum rises again, as if the desert is saying one last goodbye. Me, softly, goodbye, old friend. Cut to the camels moving slowly through the sand, carrying us away as the sky darkens. The stars begin to appear, one by one, twinkling over the vast, endless desert. The sound of the singing sands fades, but in my mind, I know I will always hear it. Narration: some places change you. Some places leave their song in your soul. The Gobi Desert was one of them. And though I left that night, a part of me stayed behind, forever listening to the whispers of the sand. Cut to a final shot of the dunes under a starlit sky, silent and eternal. The wind stirs one last time, carrying a ghostly hum into the night.